at how far we've come. It's all becoming so overwhelming. The Starborn, the artifact visions, the music. Is it all worth it?
Mateo, are you having a crisis of faith? You?
What if the Starborn are right? What if our hunt for the artifacts is a fool's errand, doomed to failure and catastrophe?
You think we're doing the wrong thing? We just want answers. Isn't that why we all joined in the first place? The noble quest of discovery?
Agreed. We should not abandon our mission when things become difficult.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to shame either of you. Blame the workings of a worried mind. I just hope that this journey doesn't turn us into something that we wouldn't recognize from where we are now.
Hate to interrupt, but I have a favor to ask. Lot of equipment on the Eye has reached the span's end. If we're going to find more artifacts further out, we need work done. Got the nods and signs from Sarah and Walter for the materials, but I need hands. Middle of the biggest city and the settled systems not passing the safety checks? Only met the Starborn out in space so far. Secrets within secrets. Wouldn't be the first time for Constellation. Fine. Camaraderie over reason. All right. Pack up the artifacts. Hopefully we'll catch a smile and keep the Starborn guessing.
I know everyone's excited by the artifacts, but we need to be as objective as possible and be aware of possible negative effects.
Another planet without native life. All we need to concern ourselves with then is other visitors.
Well, well. Packing up the artifacts and keeping your friends out of my line of fire. I'm impressed. This is exactly the sort of move the emissary would never think of making. Oh, I mean, I can't promise that for every universe you visit. I'm only one version of myself after all. But I'll stay away from your friends this time. We both know where things end anyway. I took a little detour myself this time around. I hope you weren't planning to visit Captain Petrov and the Scow anytime soon. Because they're both in a million pieces. Except for the artifact, of course. Mine now. I like the Starborn you're becoming. By the way, you might want to tell your friend Mateo about the word unity, since I won't be around to casually drop the word like I usually do. And congratulations on saving all your friends. Even if they never realize how close they were to being attacked by the Great Hunter.
Do you have a favorite restaurant here? Mine is currently Whetstone, but it changes. We do not spend as much time here as them.
Don't believe it.
What did you want to talk about?
Well, if it isn't the newest addition to the family.
Sarah was just regaling us with a story involving her and Vladimir that is clearly 100% fabricated.
Are you calling me a liar, Cartray?
No, ma'am. Wouldn't dream of it.
At this point, we've all got stories that sound made up. Lucky that all of us here know they're true.
Some of our stories are a bit weirder than others, you gotta admit.
Okay, sure, but it's not a contest, Barrett. None of us thought we'd end up here like this. I was sure I'd have a nice, quiet, boring career in Mast.
I kind of figured I'd just keep securing religious relics.
Sorry, I couldn't quite hear that. Did you say securing or stealing?
You're never gonna let it go, are you?
You should know by now that is not how Walter operates. He never lets anything go. It's gotten him this far.
Now, Andreja, I'm sure your answer would be something about the life of a smuggler. Am I right?
It was perhaps not my plan, but my options were limited.
Hey, no judgment here. In addition to weird stories, I think we've all done a few things we're not proud of.
And that is one contest Barrett would definitely win.
What about you? I know you were kind of thrown into all this.
Discovered an artifact and tussled with pirates all on his first day. No big deal, right? I'll drink to that.
I don't think any of us could go back. This is too big.
You got that right. We all need to see this through.
She's right, like always. We're onto something and there's no turning back, especially not after what I've spent on this.
The optimism in this room right now could power all of New Atlantis. I love it.
We have an incredibly capable group of people here. We have a path to follow, and we're going to see where it leads. We're going to figure out what this all means, and look after each other along the way. No matter what happens, we're all in this together.
I'll drink to that.
Ask if you've got questions. Speak up if you have ideas.
I wanted
We're
to
all
talk to
here for
you,
the same
but
reason.
honestly, I don't know where to begin. The Starborn's technology is simply astonishing. It's just almost too much to process. Of course not. No one has. If an encounter with this level of importance had occurred in the past, I assure you that Constellation would be well acquainted with it. Yes, I suppose I am. But you can hardly blame me, can you? You do understand the significance of this encounter, don't you? This is humankind's first contact with what I believe is an alien race. A race with technology that could be far superior to our own. Oh, we could learn so much from them. The way they behaved, I'd say that's not very likely. If we are to learn anything from the Starborn, we're going to have to take the initiative ourselves. Oh, I do. More than you'll ever know. Can't be a coincidence that these Starborn suddenly appeared after your experience at that temple. We know they're here to lay claim to the artifacts, but what's their true motivation? What aren't they telling us? I feel exactly the same way. But it certainly sounded like they weren't willing to work with us at all. Damn. Oh, if only we knew more about the Starborn. What their species is like, where they're from, how they're able to speak our language. I feel like a cadet on my very first day aboard a spaceship. My mind is absolutely swimming with questions. Then you suspect, don't you mean we? Anyway, that's an interesting theory, but given what we've seen so far, I don't see how it's possible. Their name alone, Starborn. There's some type of hidden meaning there. Something that feels very old, perhaps even ancient. Whatever the case may be, I can assure you that Constellation intends to get to the bottom of this mystery. I'm not really sure. Scientifically speaking, we're all born from the stars. Most of the chemical components of our body, carbon, oxygen, sulfur, are exactly the same as those manufactured by internal stellar reactions. Now, ask someone like Matteo the same question, and he'd probably give a more theological answer. But hey, it's all a guessing game anyway. Exactly. We must use all of the tools at our disposal to learn more about the Starborn and their connection to the artifacts. I'm grateful you feel that way. And don't worry, I promise to be careful. You know, it's funny. When I was a little girl, I'd lay on the ground and stare up at the stars. I was absolutely convinced they held a secret. I'd remain there for hours in silence, eyes closed, listening, waiting for the secret to be whispered in my ear. This encounter with the Starborn is that moment to me. The stars are finally whispering, and I need to hear what they have to say. Truthfully, I haven't the slightest idea. But just the thought that any of the secrets of the universe could be revealed from these Starborn is terribly exciting. I'll be careful, I promise. Well then, I've certainly wasted enough of your valuable time. Just do be careful if you cross paths with these Starborn in the future. I wouldn't want to lose one of the most valuable members of Constellation.
Hello. Indeed I do. All yours. All right then.
Bet you never expected to end up involved in something like this. Unity. Huh. That's an important concept in Keeper Aquilas' speeches. You think it's connected? You really think so? I can't wait to talk to the Keeper about this. I'll meet you there.
Hope my employees don't give you too much trouble. At this point, I don't care what you have to do to get that project. You're doing Constellation proud.
Say the word, and we shall be on our way. Captain?
Your ship is way bigger than Dad's.
Dust-off complete. Orbital insertion completed.
You know, you have a hell of an effect on people around you.
Talk to me. Hey, now the party can get started. Fine. Well, I hope I've got a good Right.
Say the word, and we shall be on our way.
Ship's good. Buckle up and let's go.
Apogee complete. We're in orbit.
Talk to me, my dear friend. I have to talk about the Starborn. Do you have a second? You do, right? I know. We don't have a lot of information right now. But even going with what we know, this is remarkable. It's mind-boggling. It's huge. It could be the dawn of a new era of humanity. Or it could be an elaborate prank or any number of mundane explanations. Spoken like a true scientist. I agree. We just need more data. There has to be a way to draw them out and figure out where they're coming from. To me, huh? You're not interested in getting this great revelation? I take your point, though. We don't have a lot of control over the situation. This could be a turning point for humanity, you know? Or it could be just the emergence of a powerful new faction, or some sort of elite military tech, or a gazillionaire with nothing else to do. All we know is that they wanted that artifact badly. Right. It would make no sense to any of us, I'm sure. Though they don't seem that bizarrely different at first glance, maybe we should continue to make observations. And who knows? Maybe we'll never see them again.
Look who it is.
Hello.
Some folk never leave their hometown. Late at night in dive bars, sometimes the old-timers share stories about things they've seen that they just couldn't explain. Ghost stories, if you will. I've heard of things like the Starborn before. But they're real. Honest to God real. Ain't that the truth? So the obvious question is, what the hell are they? Everyone's gonna be thinking aliens, but maybe not. Their ships were incredible, but they still felt like ships. They had engines, weapons, I think I even made out a grav drive. If they were really alien, I would just expect it to be more alien, you know? I mean, it could be some secret Freestar Varun or UC tech, but I don't know. Anybody that says they know for sure are lying. I'm gonna throw out another wild stab in the dark theory. Maybe they're from outside our known systems. Here's the hypothetical. Centuries ago, some brainiac scientists decide to play settler. But they go way, way beyond any place we've ever been to set up stakes. Once they get there, they make a few lucky breakthroughs, and their science just snowballs from there. I could see them getting further, faster, and hence become the Starborn. How non-committal of you. One way or the other, we are not alone. And that's that's both exciting and terrifying.
I think I prefer the wild planets to this city. At least there, the predators are easier to spot. I may not quite enjoy New Atlantis, but this... this is much better.
I just think you should give it a little more thought, okay?
Well, okay, fine. Let's see what he says. Hey, you have a second? Sam and I were just having a, discussion, and I wanted someone else's input.
I think it's more accurate to say that you and I have now both been cornered, but sure.
I'd like to, you know, get in shape, do some working out. So I asked Vladimir for some tips, and he basically said weightlifting was a bad idea.
Are you sure that's what he said, or is it just what you heard?
Anyway, so I wanted to get Sam's opinion on it, and he pretty much said the same thing.
Okay, since now you've been fully roped into this, let's all just take a step back. I had simply pointed out that if you take a look at Mateo, weightlifting isn't necessarily the first thing that comes to mind. I was wondering whether there might be a better option for him, and just sort of musing in general about the idea of sticking to things you're inclined to, versus going out and trying something completely new. Well, what's your take on it? You think it's better to stick to what you know, or to take any opportunity to try something that's maybe outside your comfort zone? Well, now I'm just talking more generally, philosophically, if you will. Well, there you have it.
That's what I've been saying! Anyway, thanks. I think I'm gonna try it. And don't worry, I'll be sure and ask Vladimir for pointers.
Hey, we'll support you no matter what. Just don't want to see you get hurt is all.
Yeah, I know. Thanks. And maybe, if I need a spotter...
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
This is all exciting, but...
You know,
there's
you have a hell
really
of
a
an
lot of
effect on
pressure
people
on us,
around
isn't there? We have to get this right. Unity. Huh. That's an important concept in Keeper Aquilas' speeches. You think it's connected? You really think so? I can't wait to talk to the Keeper about this. I'll meet you there.
Fighting alongside you is never dull.
Hello.
Keeper Aquilas, can we have a moment?
Oh, Mateo. It's been too long. How are your parents? Your mother still struggling with that azalea garden?
No, she figured that out a while ago. Had to adjust the pH levels in the soil. But, Keeper, I didn't come to catch up.
Oh. Well, what's on both your minds? Oh, yeah. How humanity comes together. How we are to love each other, even as our universe becomes even more complex.
That's not exactly what we mean. Keeper, when you talk about unity, well, does it mean anything else? Something secret?
Perhaps you should talk about this inside. Now that we have a little privacy, why don't you tell me exactly what it is that brought you two here? I see. Yes, you are quite correct.
Wait, what? I've never heard of this story before. And how come you know about it when I don't?
Forgive us, Mateo. We have a bit more history than you might realize. If you're already familiar with the story, then I assume you know where to go and with whom you need to meet. Or considering you are walking Constellation's path, perhaps you feel the need to hear the story again. Retrace your steps. Of course. Let's speak of the person who discovered the true meaning of unity. In my story, the pilgrim met the founders of the House of Enlightenment and the enigmatic cult of the Varun, and he gave them each a part of the truth. Then he goes to his final resting place to live out the rest of his days in contemplation of infinitum addendum, his addition or contribution to the infinite. But what if the story isn't a metaphor, but a code, a way of finding the pilgrim again, or at least his grave? I agree. I think you need to talk to them about this unity pilgrim. And clearly, not just in a theological sense, as I have. The enlightened work out of the well here in New Atlantis, helping the poorest citizens find a better life for themselves. Varun worshippers are more enigmatic, but there is a lone zealot that was captured recently for attacking UC ships. I visited her a couple of times. Hopefully she'll be willing to talk to you as well.
I'll stay here with the Keeper. We need to catch up. And I wouldn't mind asking him a few more questions.
I'm beginning to believe the pilgrim wanted us to find his resting place. If we can only gather all the clues. The sanctum will always be here. For those who seek it.
I've heard some hostile camps are wiped off the map by you.
Things I would do if I had power like that.
On the ground in Aquila City has reported an increase in attacks by the Storm.
I told them it was a bad idea.
I used to be an actuary. Now look at me.
If you're looking for a tracker, you've come to the right place. If not, well, I've got nothing.
We run a number of social programs, from financial aid to food banks. If it's about the financial or food assistance programs, we are backlogged. Don't worry, we're doing everything we can. Oh, you're not? Sorry. Can I help you?
We understand that you are busy, but this might be important. Anything you could tell us would be helpful.
Listen, I've talked about this with him a ton of times, and there's no record of a Unity pilgrim. But since you both insist, our early records are mostly administrative. Humanitarian projects, group counseling notes, charity expenditures. But there is a series of exchanges the founding members recorded in a lot of detail. It's the closest thing I have to what Aquilus is describing. Yeah, I mean, he's always going on about trying to bring people of all beliefs together. Really wants there to be some shared story or origin. Look, I like the Keeper, but belief is the problem, okay? We don't need a shared narrative or theology. We need to help each other in practical terms. A man walks into the first house of enlightenment. The founding members just call him the Drifter. So they think he's a charity case at first, but no, the Drifter asks them a bunch of questions. If your philosophy is built on an individual's own morality, what about the second person? That second person might disagree. Isn't the problem of two what you're really looking for? And the founders respond, each individual must understand how the second person lifts them up. All of human effort is a story of cooperation pushing us forward. And it kind of goes on like that. He comes back every week for a year. Same conversation every time. Second person this, the problem of two that. It's part of our core principles. There's no God pushing us to do good for some eternal reward. We have to help each other because we choose to. If no one takes responsibility for making the settled systems better, then we're just leaving it to the tyrants to bully the rest of us. That's what you got out of that, huh? Honestly, I think the founding members made it all up. There was a little more hesitation being openly atheist in the early days. I think they were experimenting with writing their own scripture. Fortunately, that got abandoned pretty quick. After the records of the Drifter end, you never see anything like it again. Besides what the Keeper would say about it, sounds like a gathering point, or a center. Or in mathematics, it would mean one, like the one, the first or the beginning. Sorry, I couldn't be of more help, but that's about all I've got. Hope you find what you're looking for.
I suppose that is ours now.
Hey?
Don't say.
You hear about that missing ship? They think it was pirates. Good for them to spend some time away from home.
Eating nothing but oishi ramen and Canuck pancakes might not be good for you.
Oh, Compotech Big Bang.
You just have to
Now
register as
that's
a
the
shipping
weapon.
service and not a transport craft.
Your cooperation with
New Atlantis puts on a wonderful show of security, does it not?
is appreciated.
Not sure if those Varun zealots live in space or got separated from their home planet or what, but they scavenge what they need. Lots of old facilities left over from the colony war, and they like to pick them clean.
A visitor? I have all the company I need. He knows not the truth. He sends another to ask more incessant questions.
It is something, at least, that he has come to speak with you. I suspect few others would.
The Great Serpent waits in the shadows. He will entwine the universe, and all but the faithful will be made as dust. That is the truth. No more, no less.
That conviction is what defines House Varun, and even the Zealots, however they may misapply it.
The knowledge of the Great Serpent sweeps away all concern. There is only his inevitable return, and those he will spare. Nothing else. You wish to speak of the Keeper's Pilgrim, do you not? I will tell you of him, and then you will leave. Jinan Varun meets the unbeliever. He gives false prophecy to Jinan. But such is Jinan's conviction in the Great Serpent, he does not hesitate. He cuts the unbeliever down. But the unbeliever returns. Jinan realizes the Great Serpent is testing him, and he will not be found wanting. 4 times they fight. Over 120 rotations of the planet they are on. Remember these 4 battles, Jinan, the unbeliever says. Remember these 120 rotations. But Jinan knows this is blasphemy, and delivers the killing blow. That is all. I have heard of no such thing. If it exists, it is a shadow that the Great Serpent casts to deceive the faithless. Strength and conviction show your worthiness to the Great Serpent. The kill is not as important as showing there is no doubt. I grow tired of speaking. Leave me.
Can we speak for a moment? I wanted to thank you for giving me the chance to work with you. I know we met under, unusual circumstances. You seem to be acclimating well to Constellation. Are you enjoying working with them? I think none of us were expecting what we have found. Well, perhaps Matteo. You have certainly become a vital part of the organization. That is a credit to your abilities. If I may, from what you have seen, do you think I fit in well with the rest of Constellation? No, I do not. But I find it hard to quantify. Many of the other members are polite, but distant. I worry that my background and my actions concern them. I have not shared much, but everyone knows I worked with smugglers for years. I am no stranger to violence and death. Why should I be? It was necessary for survival. I would not be here otherwise. For those that have not lived it, it can be difficult to imagine or accept. Others here have seen conflict, but for more noble causes. Vladimir is the only one here who can begin to understand. He was the one who pressed the group to include me. I lack his charm. He puts others at ease. I fear my presence does the opposite. It is strange. I admit it has never been an issue before now. I know this seems trivial, perhaps childish. I have just always relied only on myself. I have never been surrounded by people like this. By a group I wish to be a part of. Does that make sense? Thank you. That is reassuring. Discussing these things is challenging for me. I hope now you can better understand why I wanted to keep the circumstances of our meeting quiet. I wanted to thank you for not saying anything to Vladimir. I know that you said you wouldn't, but it is still a relief. I would like my contributions to Constellation to amount to more than violence. Indeed it was. And now I hope you can see why. Thank you for talking this over with me. It is good to know that at least one member of Constellation understands me.
Your safety is our #1 concern.
You don't need to. That your ship that landed not too long ago? Sure is something. Be careful if you run into those ecliptic.
I will never grow tired of seeing that.
Well, you're back. What did you learn? Was there something hidden in their stories? like we thought? Yes. What he added to infinity. Maybe that points to a name. If we're looking for his resting place, we'd need to know the name of the star system, wouldn't we? What else did you learn? Planets are often named by number. That second might mean the second planet in the system. Was there anything else? If there really is a location the Pilgrim wanted us to find, those do sound awfully like coordinates. Let's see. We have something that could be coordinates. Something that could point to a planet in the system. But what's the name of the system? Infinitum addendum. What if we break down the parts? No systems named finite or add. That just leaves in and dumb. Well, that's certainly how I feel. Yes, that's it. The second planet in Indum, at 4 and 120. That's where you'll find the Pilgrim's resting place. And from there, maybe you'll find the true meaning of unity. Before you go, you've now spoken to many different perspectives in our universe. In a way, you'll be carrying their philosophies with you on this journey. I know you're looking for a specific unity, but if you had to guess what it was, what interpretation would you give it? But what makes something like that holy? Gravity is also a force that brings things together. Should that be sanctified? Yes and no. We believe God is out there waiting for us in the universe, and that the grav jump will bring us closer. But is gravity itself an article of faith? What do you think? It is one of the great contradictions of belief. We feel the presence of something out there, but we insist that it is also everywhere. So you think this word unity describes that divine unknowableness that the Pilgrim searched for?
Could it be that somehow natural forces like gravity are, a side effect or a function of something greater at work? Interesting.
Well, I won't keep you any longer. This has been fun, I have to admit. Go, find your truth.
You will be returned to the stars.
drive is spinning down. Jump was smooth as butter.
I will never get tired of that.
Surrender now!
Enemy's shields are back online.
Take out the hostile.
Yes! Their grab drive is out of commission.
The Freestar Collective owes you, stranger. We weren't expecting so many ecliptic vessels. Micro wants you to know how much we appreciate the help. Any way we can repay you? Done. You take care.
Let's see what's on this ball.
Let us see what wonders of life this planet hosts. Someone made a concerted effort to survive here, and yet it would seem it did not work out. cold here. Too cold to be safe, for sure.
Up and away. Stable orbit achieved. We could stay here forever. Well, for a while anyway.
Leave no one alive.
Whoa! I love the feeling after a perfect jump.
Their grav drive's down.
United Colonies vessel to unknown contact. Please acknowledge. Is everything alright over there? All in a day's work for UC security. I'm not sure we would have made it out of there without your help. Any way we can repay you? Transferring credits now. You take care out there.
Grav drive spinning down. Systems green.
We're locked in and landing.
Every world with living things is a treasure.
Seals are tight. We're docked.
So it's finally happened, hasn't it? I had a feeling when you slipped through my grasp at New Atlantis. But I'm a step behind, aren't I?
You are Starborn. More than that, you are reliving your old life. You could have told Constellation what you are, but you didn't. Why? Listen to me. They are not the same people you knew. It is not fair to turn them into what you had before.
Oh, let it go. We've all retraced ourselves a few dozen or so times. I say, we play along with your little reincarnation. The more freedom you have, the more new things happen.
You are Starborn. And all of us need to be responsible for the fact that we are visitors in this universe.
Lies. We have as much right to be here as anyone.
But do we have the right to turn another universe into our playground? You had the power to tell your friends the truth. And you chose not to.
There's that hypocrisy again. How much easier would your first time through the Unity have been if the emissary had told you the truth? Did their threats from the shadows keep your universe safe from the Starborn? No, it didn't. We each get to decide what's right and wrong for us. That's the freedom the Unity offers. Good. Then you're beginning to see how the multiverse really works. We're all just in it for ourselves when push comes to shove.
If you insist on walking this path, then walk it fully. Go to the moon. Follow its secrets to the next artifact. Maybe remembering what happens to Earth will give you focus. Here. The key. You will also need to return to Constellation and find the artifacts in the fringes of space. They will be expecting you to tell them about the Unity.
And it might be best to give them the version where you're still human, and not a Starborn that's been lying to them this whole time.
The artifacts, I'll tell you everything I can. You've seen the terror the Hunter causes. Every time a Starborn goes through the Unity, they get more artifacts, find more temples, gain more power. We can't let more like him abuse these gifts to destroy whatever's in their way. Different. I never know who you are when I meet a new version. But so much of you stays the same. It's hard, but each universe is precious in its own way. Mine will never have its original you in it again, as yours won't have its real me.
The emissary and their kind only want to control you. They enter the Unity, take artifacts from others, employ force. All the things I do. I am many things, but I would never tell anyone what to do with their gifts. That is your decision, not someone else's. The emissary wants to become the judge of who gets to enter, but the Unity itself doesn't judge. Whoever created the artifacts and built those temples is playing a game with us. One whose prize is access to the center of all creation. There are no rules. Whoever gets all the pieces wins. And I've won. Over and over. I don't kill for the Unity. I find the easiest pathway to it.
Hey! How are you?
Nice. Clean sep there.